Hello and welcome to this video. It's the continuation of my series on Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and everything that I go through in the video comes from the ebooks, so please do pick up a copy. So I'm going to talk to you today about the topic of structure. When you're analysing a text at GCSE, A-level and even degree level, you really divide your sort of study into language, structure and form. And the structure side of that is how is the text organised, laid out? What structure does it follow and why is that significant? So when it comes to structure of things like novels and plays, there is a sort of a kind of system we follow. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, around the year 335 BC, wrote this book, Poetics, which is a book which included theories on narrative structure. He analysed Greek tragedy as a genre and defined some of the main characteristics which he felt were essential in works of tragedy. Well, in the 19th century, building on the work of Aristotle, the German novelist Gustav Freytag proposed that all plots can be divided into a 5-part structure. And that 5-part structure looks something like this. And you may have studied it in school as Freytag's pyramid or the story mountain or whatever. But he suggested that everything starts off with an exposition, which is obviously at the beginning, which introduces the setting and the main characters. Then there's the rising action, where a series of events keep the reader interested, building up to the climax, where the big moment of the story, where the main character comes to face to face with a problem and has a choice to make. And then it winds down with the falling action, where the problem unravels and the hero either wins or loses. And eventually the denouement, which is the fallout, the ending from the way the characters deal with the climax, and it can be a good ending or a bad ending. Now, if we apply that to Pride and Prejudice, it's really easy to get confused, and if you're in a class, you might want to pause the video now with this on screen and try and break down the novel to this structure. I think the problem is that there are so many characters in this novel that you can actually map out the Freytag's pyramid model for numerous different ways for different characters. But I think the main plot structure is something like this. So the exposition is that Mr. Bingley moves to Netherfield, which excites the Bennet family. We get to know then about the Bennet family and who they are and the situation with marriage and all that kind of thing. The rising action would be that Jane and Bingley become close. Collins proposes to Elizabeth. Elizabeth begins to like Mr. Wickham, building up to the big climax where Mr. Darcy proposes to Elizabeth. And sometimes in my experience as a teacher, people struggle to identify what exactly is the climax. But I think the really helpful thing for me is the climax is that big moment where the character has a choice to make. And of course, Elizabeth has a choice to make in this climax because she has to decide whether to accept Mr. Darcy's proposal or not. The falling action would be Elizabeth visits Pemberley, Lydia and Wickham elope, and the denouement, Jane marries Bingley and Elizabeth marries Darcy. So nice happy ending in this one. So that's a way of analysing the structure of the novel, and you can apply this model to any text you're studying, if it's a play or a novel or a short story. It really does seem to work for almost everything. The only exceptions really tend to be some very recent sort of deliberately difficult texts. In the last few years, novelists sometimes try to, deliberately break the rules. But most of the time, certainly what you're studying at GCSE and A level should follow this structural pattern, and it can be useful in, an exam or a controlled assessment or an essay to kind of say, this moment which comes at the climax, is the great moment of choice for Elizabeth, and just to know your way around the structure of a text. So I hope you found this video useful. Please do subscribe to the channel.